Today we're going to be talking about the PDF mapper for Precise FP. So with that, with our PDF mapper, it actually allows you to upload any PDF form and connect the fields yourself. So the PDF fields get actually filled with client entered data while the output remains in the PDF's original format. So you can even actually connect our e-signature elements and have your clients sign the map PDF directly from their engagement without the need to open the underlying PDF. So what is the benefit of doing this in Precise FP? Well, the big benefit is your clients are going to have the same user experience that they're familiar with. Engaging your clients with an agreement or a custodial form works exactly the same way as any other engagement. So your clients input and review their information in a secure, familiar environment with real-time data validation and an autosave. And when they're done, we automatically fill in the underlying PDF form for you to send out to your custodian or broker dealer. So I always think it's good to kind of get into this, and I could talk about this day in and day out till I'm blue in the face, but I think really kind of diving into it and showing you how it works is going to be beneficial. So before we do start, I just wanted to kind of talk about a few terms that you're going to probably hear often on this presentation, or you may even see it as you're going in and out of Precise FP. So especially if you're new, I think just kind of knowing the definitions of these kind of 4 keywords is going to be key. Number one is accounts. So accounts are your client or prospect household records. Other applications like your CRM or financial planning software may just call them clients or households or contacts or records. So an account will always include one main client and may sometimes include a co-client like a spouse, partner, or significant other. Templates. So in essence, templates are just smart dynamic forms. They're fully customizable, and we do provide a large library of ready-to-use templates for a multitude of situations. Engagement. So when you engage a client or a prospect with an account template, a new engagement is then created. Engagements will actually store the information input by the client and can be previewed or printed exactly as they left it. And lastly, the account profile. Now, this is where your client's relevant data is stored, like contact information, household, assets, liabilities. They all reside in the account profile. And we use this information to pre-fill some of your engagements. And then when your client completes them, we automatically update their account profile to include that new collected data. And some of the information from the profile can then be exported to other systems too via our integration. So again, like your CRM or your financial planning software, those kind of applications. So let's go ahead, and now that we know kind of those key terms there, let's go ahead and jump right over into Precise FP. So bear with me as I switch my screen over here. Okay, so now we're looking at the Precise FP dashboard. Again, focus today is all about the PDF mapper. And like I said, the benefit of the PDF mapper feature is to make it so that you're getting data into your PDF, but for the client, again, it gives them the same user experience that they're familiar with. If they've previously filled out like a lead gen form or a fact finder, and now you need them to do like an account opening form, or even prior to that, maybe like an agreement or something like that. The benefit is that the client isn't interacting with the PDF at all. The PDF is actually underlying to your template. The client is going to be putting in data on the template. So the end result again is going to be your PDF filled out. And then you can download that and take that and send it where you need to go. So to access the PDF mapper, now just to kind of back up a little bit, I also want to say that the DocuSign integration, and I'm going to show all this through the webinar here, But the DocuSign integration that we have, that only works with the PDF mapper. You do have to, and I'm going to show you again how to do all this, but you do have to upload a fillable PDF and then lay down the DocuSign element. That is the only way that the DocuSign integration is going to work. You may ask, what forms are the PDF mapper for? Well, we have a lot of advisors who have like specific broker-dealer forms, or again, custodial forms. And those forms have a specific standardized look and feel to them, right? So they've got like the barcodes and the logos and all that kind of verbiage on them. And this allows you to have the end result be that fillable PDF filled out, and that is what you can turn in and have processed. A lot of times we have advisors who say, well, my service agreement is a fillable PDF. Can I just upload that? Well, yeah, that is another kind of route that you can go with the PDF mapper. Now, usually with the service agreements, though, we tend to find that advisors really prefer to just have their service agreement as a form, a template that you can send out a Precise FP and not use DocuSign with. The DocuSign integration comes in when you've got those forms where, like, again, custodial forms where they require DocuSign. They may not approve like our e-signature. So this is all just going to kind of make sense as I'm going along here and kind of showing this. So what I always recommend is if you have something like, let's say, a custodial form, and it's got a lot of, they usually have a lot of data that the client needs to input on them, right? So there's a lot of fields that need to be filled out. What I recommend is if you're going to go that route, we've got a lot of fields already built into these forms. And as I was saying, a lot of them can be used to, pre-fill out data as well. So I always recommend, if you are going to go down the path of doing PDF mapping, it really does just make sense to, use what we already have. That way you're not having to reinvent the wheel. But in case you do have to, go out there and create new fields, I'm going to show you how to do that in the PDF mapper. But I think just to, again, give you guys a general sense of going out here and, maybe kind of using something that we already have and how it can be beneficial for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use from our library under the Fact Finder subsection here. I'm just going to use this household structure template. Very simple, just ask for information from the client, the co-client, and if they have any family members. So to use this, I'm simply just going to click on it and click on Add to My Templates. So My Templates is essentially your own library full of templates that you've either installed and customized, or that you've come out here and customized and built your own. So this is basically any templates that you can engage a client with. Now, if you want to go in here and start customizing, all you have to do is just click on any template of yours that you have in your My Templates, click on it, and then click on the Customize button. So again, this takes you into the template editor. Now, to access the PDF mapper, you'll click on the PDF icon up here in the upper right-hand corner. Now, this point of view, before we get into that, this point of view here in the template editor, this is the template. This is what the client is going to see. Now, if you start with a blank form and you upload your fillable PDF, something to keep in mind, and I think a lot of times people think that because they upload a fillable PDF, it's just going to kind of be like a wizard feel to it and create those fields on the template. That's not what happens. There is going to be work involved in having this PDF mapper process work for your form. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a fillable PDF. So I apologize, I work with TD, so I just have TD forms, but again, this is going to work with any fillable PDF. You're not limited to just doing custodial forms. It's any fillable PDF. So here is, in this case, in this example, the IRA application for TD. I got this from TD's website. It's a fillable PDF. I can see I've got the blue fields here that indicate that is a fillable field. This is the PDF viewer here. if I click in the X in the upper right-hand corner, this takes me to the template view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a preview of this just to kind of show you, just so you guys can kind of, wrap your minds around this and to see what this is going to look like. Again, Precise FP is the client-facing tool in your kind of advisor toolbox. This is what is going to go out to your client. This is what the client is going to see is the template. Notice the PDF isn't there, right? That is because, again, the PDF is underlying to the template. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that these fields get filled out. How do you do that? You do that by mapping the field from the PDF to the field on the actual template. So again, a lot of times what people do with the PDF mapping, we see is they come out here and they upload the PDF, and then they come out here and they click on a field, and then under the connection dropdown, they don't see anything to connect to. And the reason being is because when you close out of this PDF viewer, you may not have any fields out here. A lot of times people start with just a blank form. This is why I highly, highly recommend starting with one of our templates that we already have. It's very easy to come out here. We've got another video on our advanced workshop playlist on our YouTube channel where we talk about the template editor. Now you can go out here and you can delete any fields that you don't necessarily need, and we can add fields. I'm gonna go all over this in just a moment. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go slow here, but let's say on this account owner section here, we've got this first name. This is for the primary account owner. I want to link this to, and I'm gonna do a lot of back and forth here, guys. I apologize. So I want to link this. Let me go back to my template. So again, this is a template. If you're just joining, I saw a couple folks joining just now. This is a template that I actually installed from the library. This is our household structure template that I just installed from the library. This already has a first name field on it, as you can see here, right? So what I want to do is I want to go back to my PDF. I'm going to click in the first name field, and I'm going to connect it to that first name field. This connection dropdown is showing me the fields that I can connect to from that template. So then I can click on Save Changes, and now that turns green and has a little chain link icon, and if you hover over that, that tells you exactly what page it's connected to, the group that it's connected to, and the element name that it is connected to. I'm going to do the same thing for last name because there is also a last name field on that template. I'm going to go here and go to connection, choose last name, and choose save changes. So what is going to happen? Now that I send this out to my client, what will happen is they're going to input their first name here. They're going to input their last name here. When this form is all completed, what will happen is this PDF, again, this is the end result. This is what you're going to get at the end after the form is completed. This PDF is then going to be filled out with that data that the client input on the actual Precise FP template. Now, the other really cool thing about this is, not only does it make it so that the client isn't interacting with PDFs anymore, you guys can really make the overall experience on this template side of things, making sure that you're getting in that data and proper data that you need, especially with custodial forms, you really can significantly reduce NIGO, not in good order issues. You guys can set things to be mandatory. So you can make any field mandatory, just click on it, click on edit, and click on yes for mandatory. And now that's a mandatory field. So the client can't skip over that and complete the form without that. There's validation to fields as well. So like if you lay down, we'll just take the email field for an example here. You got to lay down an email field on the client side. If they just try to enter in, Courtney.com, it'll reject that. It will not allow them to move until they enter in a proper email address. So again, we do everything that we possibly can on this side with this data entry here that the client's doing to make sure that you guys are getting in proper data, which is then ultimately going to come over here and fill out this PDF. Now, a couple of things that you can do here, which is really nice. So, you've got like this advisor code, or you've got here in like this section, the investment advisor section, you can pre-fill things out here using what we call macros. So macros, there's a few macros that we already have. Basically, this will just pull in information that you already have in like in the advisor information. This is all coming from the settings. And then you've got client information that can populate names, and then you've got date information that you can populate too. Just less fields for you and for the client to input, so you can use what you already have in like your settings and things like that. So in this case, it's asking for the firm name. So in this case, I can pull in the company name, and then just click on Save Changes, and it have a little different icon for you, but basically that shows you that that's a macro, and it's going to use the company name macro. Primary contact, I can do the same thing. I can either put, maybe the advisor's email or the advisor's phone number, and pop that in there. So that will automatically, each time that you generate this particular paperwork, that information will automatically fill out with those details that are already in the settings there. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is when we get down here to like annual income, for example, as you can see on this case, this is a checkbox on the actual PDF. How can I do that on the Precise FP side and map over each one of these check marks into the PDF? So that's very simple to do too. What will happen is you'll just have to create what we call a multiple option element on the template, and then we're going to make use of what we call conditional visibility on the actual PDF side of things, so that it's smart enough to know that when the client checks this, that it maps to this field. When they check this, it maps to this field. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to go back to the actual template here. So what I'm going to do is, let me just add a new page to this template here. I'm just going to call it sample. And I'm going to just kind of, I think just starting from scratch is nice here. So I'm going to add a new element, and in this case, I'm going to add a multiple option element, and that was called annual income on the PDF. So there were a couple of options here. So in the allowed values, this is the options that you're giving to your client. So the first one was $0 to $24.9, and then I want to give them another option, which the next one was 25,000 to 49. Now, something to keep in mind here is you'll want to click on Advanced Editor, and just to kind of simplify things, because, and you'll see what I mean here, we use the value for these to pull into that actual PDF. So what I would do is it auto creates values for you, but just to make things simple, I would either do 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to have a different value for as many options as you have, or you can do A, B, C, D, whichever you prefer. Just makes it 100 times easier for you when you go back to the PDF and map it. So I'm just going to do 2 here, just so you can see. And then I'm going to click on Create. So again, this is on the template. This is what the client sees, right? So now I need to go back to that PDF. I'm going to go to this annual income field here, and I'm going to click on this first checkbox. I'm going to choose my connection. So in this case, it's annual income. You could do a search. So if you've got quite a few fields on your template, you can do a search here. Now what I'm going to do, and this is important, what I'm going to do is this selector here. It defaults to any value, but since we are doing a multiple option, again, this is where that value is going to come into play. We're going to do conditional value, and value only equals 1. Because I know back when I created that multiple option on the template, I chose that first option, the value is 1. So that little box there will light green, show you that this will only check if they mark that first option. And then I'll do it just one more time here. So for the second checkbox, again, I'm going to choose my connection to be annual income. We want the selector to be conditional value. And remember, I set that one as a 2 and then save changes. So again, when they mark this one, it's going to, again, that value was that I assigned to it was 1, and I assigned it, as you can see there, it shows the page, the group that it's in, the element name, only if that value 1 is selected, and then same thing for the next one. And then I would just continue on and I can map the others. So that's how you can do check boxes. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys, because we get asked about this a lot, and I believe this one has it. Let me double check here. Here we go. So let me go back to the template here just to show you. So on this page here, this About You page, this is what we call a co-client enabled page. And you can tell that by this little icon to the left. It's got that little identification card. Whereas this one, this household members page, just has a little house icon. If you actually go back up to this page and you click on the pencil icon, you'll see that this has an enabled co-client area. So let's do a preview of this template just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Again, this is a preview of this actual form, what it looks like if it's going out to the client. So on this side, what they'll see is it'll ask them for their information, but at the bottom, there's going to be this Add Co-Client area. So when they click on this, what will happen is it allows them to enter in information for their spouse, partner, or significant other. So this is where they can go out here and enter in that information. Now, how do you map information for a spouse or partner? So that's what I want to show you next. On the PDF, what you'll do is, let me go back to the PDF, and the trusted contact is a great example of needing to do that. So I'm going to go here to the first name field. And what I'm going to, this is very important, because if you, I'll show you. It's better if I just show you. So I'm going to again choose the first name field, but right here on this page type. The page type defaults to be client, but we want to map the co-client here if they add one. So on the page type, again, that co-client, we're pulling it off of this personal details page, and it has that co-client enabled on it. If it didn't, this wouldn't be an option. This page type dropdown would not appear. So I'm going to choose co-client, if any. Now, what I'm going to do is, if the client doesn't add a co-client, then their name won't populate here automatically. So there's nothing else that you need to do. Maybe trusted contact isn't a good spot for this, probably secondary account owner. If this was, you know, a section for that, I would be able to do that. But I just wanted to kind of, again, point that out. The benefit of having that co-client enabled is you can then create on this PDF a section that maps just for the co-client as well. So if you've got like a secondary account holder or a beneficiary that you want to, like here, death beneficiary information, this would probably be another place where I could come out here and map. Let me do it one more time here. I'm going to do the first name, and I'm going to do page type co-client, and I'm going to click on Save Changes. I'm going to do the last name here too. I'm going to do connection, last name, page type, co-client. So again, that is going to map the co-client information. They would have to click on co-client, and they would have to enter in on that first page here. Right here, they'd have to hit Add Co-Client, and that first name and last name for the co-client only is what I'm mapping to those specific areas that we were just doing there, like for the beneficiary or for a secondary account holder, what have you. Another thing with, let me see if this template actually has it. Might not. Let me see here. Another thing that you can do, yeah, it does. Okay, so this page, right? This is not something that has any fields that are filled out on it, right? So what I have a lot of folks do is they will take like the fillable PDF, they'll open it up and they'll save just like this one page, because you may have a document that's got like a lot of verbiage on it, right? And it's, especially with these custodial forms, there's a lot of like agreement here. Like this is a lot of text that's, pertinent text that we need the client to see, right? So a couple ways that you can go about doing this. If you want, you can have this section of the PDF, you can do what we call, let me go back to the template here and show you. Let me go back to this page, and I'm going to lay down a new element just right underneath here, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But what you can do is you can do this PDF viewer. Now, this is great if you, again, just have a section where it's like text and like those occupation codes on the IRA application that I was looking at there. This is great for uploading a PDF. It literally just lays the PDF page right on the form. It's not anything that the client has to interact with. It's just a visualization of it so they can see that. That is just a little tip for you guys. The PDF viewer is not the same thing as the PDF mapper. It's literally just what it says. It lays down a PDF for the client to be able to view that. So I get asked a lot, I have this section on here and that's just text, or, something like that. That would be a little workaround that I would do. You can kind of take the PDF and you can download just pages of it. Or you can even just, cut and paste out this section right here, right? And make sure that that's all on the actual template side of it. Because again, the client is seeing the actual template. They're not seeing the PDF until the end. So I just wanted to make note of that. Another thing here that I wanted to now kind of talk about is mapping the signature. Now, if you may know that PreciseFP does provide, as an included cost, our own digital signature. So that is, our digital signature is included. It's not something extra that you have to pay for. It's not an add-on or anything like that. Our e-signature is compliant with the US e-sign Act. So it doesn't work exactly like DocuSign, like there's no routing order just yet. We're working on version 6.0 of PreciseFP. We're going to be revamping our e-signature process. But as it stands right now, what will happen is the client does authenticate themselves before they can get into the form and actually before they can place their digital signature. But it makes it so that they're staying right on the PreciseFP form. They're not having to jump to another application. Now, I can't speak for all broker-dealers and I cannot speak for all custodians. So usually we find that custodians are kind of sticklers, and that's fine, but they do usually require DocuSign. So this would be more for maybe like service agreements or any other kind of like firm-specific templates that you have, where you're maybe a little more flexible on the type of e-signature element that you can use. I'm actually going to jump out of this one. What I want to show is a service agreement type template. So we actually have a base service agreement here in our library, and this is a great way to kind of play around with a PDF mapper a little bit before you go out there and kind of take reins of your own. It does have our own default agreement out here, which, by the way, folks, if you're listening to this and you're using your service agreement and you're wondering where this, because this is, again, the end result, you can come out here and you can delete this. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. But this is a great example of showing you how you can actually place the PreciseFP digital signature on your form, and how you can come to the PDF and map this signature to the actual PDF. So on this, we actually have two signature spots. We have a signature spot for the client, and then we have a signature spot for the co-client. Now, what we are going to do is go to the PDF in this case, and I'm going to locate the signature part of this. Let me delete everything that's here because I just want to show you guys how to do this. Again, this is a great way to kind of come out here and play around with the PDF mapper if you want to get kind of comfortable with it before you dive in. But I'm just going to delete everything that's here. So the signature element, we do have a help article on how to lay down an e-signature on the actual form, but it is fairly easy to do. Basically, you just come out here and click on new element, and you've got e-signature right there. And you choose if you want to allow them to, both type or draw, or just type or just draw. If you need a certified document at the end, which captures the IP address, date and time that the signature was placed, just so you get a proper signature attribution with that. That's something that you can either enable or not enable. And then going back to the PDF here, so let me go to the signature page. Now, the moment that you lay down a signature element, you'll now have this icon here called signatures, a little pen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the signature icon. Now, I actually do also have DocuSign enabled. So that's why you're seeing the DocuSign tab there. Now, you can only use one or the other. You can either use PreciseFP's e-signature, or you can use DocuSign. So again, DocuSign is there if you have, like custodial forms or broker-dealer forms where they require on their forms a DocuSign signature, which I'm going to show you that. I wanted to show our e-signature first before I kind of jump over to DocuSign. I'm going to go back to that TD form actually and show you how to do it on that. So in this case, because I have laid down a PreciseFP e-signature element on my template, I am going to use the PreciseFP signatures here. So you've got a signature element that you can lay down, a date element, so that captures the date that the signature was placed, and the name, which is called signer. So it will populate their name. So as you can see on my PDF, I've got the client legal name, I've got the client signature spot, and a date. So let's do the date first. So I'm going to click on date. So what will happen is I'm going to click on that, and it should allow me to here. There we go. Nope. What is happening? Oh, I deleted it all. Okay. This isn't working for me for some reason. Technical difficulties. There we go. Perfect. Had to click on it a couple times. Okay, so we've got the signature element here. So I'm going to, it pops it up in this corner up here. I see it did it a bunch of times. My system must have froze up on me. So it put all those up there for me. Okay, so basically what will happen is, as you can see, it kind of puts it up by default in the upper left-hand corner there. But what you can do is you can go out there and you can click and drag. And as you can see too, it'll allow you to resize it. I'll leave that one there. So this is the client signature. I'm just gonna click, drag, drop it over here and just resize it to the size of the element on my PDF there. Perfect. And now we've got the date. So again, this is for the client. There, you can tell it's a little date because it's got the little calendar icon in the upper left of it. So I'm going to put the date there, and then I'm going to click on signature again, and I'm going to click on that signer. There we go. And that just, again, puts their little name. So the little person icon to the left there just indicates that that is their name. And I realize that this is actually the co-client, so that wouldn't work there. You can always tell what's placed there because it will tell you if it's the client or the co-client. So in my clicking around there, I accidentally grabbed the co-client. So let me grab the client signature and just resize that. And now I want to do the same thing for the co-client because I added a co-client signature element, if you recall, on that on the template. So I'm going to do the signature, which again has the little pen icon. I'm going to resize that. I'm going to click on the signatures again. I need the co-client date. Put that right there. And then I'm also going to do their name, which again is the little person icon, and just resize that up there. Okay, so again, what this looks like for the client, here's the service agreement. Now I'm going to send this out to a client, which is just going to be me, just you guys can see what this process looks like from start to finish for the client. So bear with me as I actually prepare this for one of my clients here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do create and edit. And I'm going to locate that service agreement that we just did there. Okay, so create and edit just creates it, doesn't send it out to the client yet. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'm acting as a client now. So this client of mine has already previously authenticated and created a password. If she didn't, then it would prompt her to input her PIN number first. So there's a whole help article on that. Highly recommend checking that out for things like high security level templates, which an e-signature element can only be placed on a high security level template. That is for compliance. We do have to have the client authenticate him or herself before they can actually go out and place their digital signature. So I'm just going through here and filling out these required fields. Again, I'm acting now as if I'm the client in this form. So I'm just kind of going through here and filling this out. And then here we are, I'm at the signature spot, again, acting as if I'm the client. So I can either come out here and type my name or I can draw it. Click on save. Again, this is the client's point of view here. So it would say right at the bottom, the client who's authenticated, who signed that, the date and the time that they signed. Now this person does have a co-client. So what will happen here is the co-client, they have to pass the device. So if they're on a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, the co-client has to be in the same location in order for the document to be signed by two people. So in this case, Brandon, we're just gonna pretend he's right next to me. It's me. So I'm gonna go out here and it will prompt him to authenticate just like the client as well. So in this case, he's gonna, again, just see the agreement and now he can come out here and he can sign. He's all authenticated. Now he can go out here and sign. There we go. And then at the bottom, it will show that he signed, date, time, all of that. They click on finish. And then at the end, it provides them with the option to download basically the signed document. On your side, let me just do a refresh here in PreciseFP. What you'll get is you will actually get the same thing in PreciseFP. You'll have the option to view and download the signed agreement. Now that you recall that certificate of completion, right? You enabled that, we enabled that. That's what this is right here. Let me open this up for you guys. You can see what this looks like. So it basically creates kind of this audit trail that shows, you know, who sent the form. In this case, it was me. My client opened it. The co-client signed, captures the date and time, the IP address, all that stuff. But then I can actually click on where it says e-signatures here, and I can either download all, which will download the actual agreement. Now this is that PDF. Remember, that's the underlying PDF to the form. This is what had mapped to that service agreement. I'm going to show you what this looks like for that TD form too. But here we are just downloading all of this. I can see all that information that my client filled out, and then there's their signatures. So let me go back to my templates and I want to go into that household structure form. Now, again, I use just this as a sample here. If you want to call it something else, you can change the name of that. But as you recall on this one, what I did is I have in this case, the TD IRA application underneath this. Now with this, what I want to do is let me go to the signature page here. Now TD, I know that they do not accept our digital signature. They only accept and approve DocuSign. Again, I can't speak for all broker dealers and all custodians. It's best to reach out to them to see what they use for digital signature. So if they use DocuSign, then I'm going to show you how you can lay down a DocuSign signature here. So in this case, I'm going to click on DocuSign because I do not have any PreciseFP e-signature elements on this form. So on the PDF, it's actually only allowing me to place a DocuSign signature here. So with the element type, I'm going to first select a signature field. I can choose to make that mandatory or not. If I have multiple signers, I can choose the routing order here, and I can choose who the actual signer is going to be. If that's going to be the engaged contact, is that going to be a co-client, or if there's a custom signer, I can lay down a custom signer element as well. Just for simplicity, I'm just going to engage, have the signer be the engaged contact in this case. So first up, I'm going to do a signature field. So I'm going to click on create. Again, it drops it up into the upper left-hand corner. Again, you can see that this is a signature element because it's got that little pen icon, and DocuSign little signature elements are actually purple. So if you recall, when we were doing Precise FP, they were like a golden yellowish color. So here is the place where I want the signature to be. And then let's lay down, in this case, the signer's name. And again, I have the option to choose if it's a co-client or custom signer. In this case, I'm going to just do the engaged contact. I'm going to put their name there. And then I also want a date field. So I'm going to do date of signature, again, for the engaged contact. And I'm going to put that date field right there. So now what I want to do is I'm going to engage my client with this. So I'm going to show you how it works with a DocuSign signature instead of a Precise FP signature. So it will be a little bit different because now there's going to be another application involved. So, and what I mean by that is DocuSign. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to locate that household structure form that we were working on. Here it is right here. And I am going to just kind of close out of this. I'm going to just get the link of it just for demonstration purposes. Oops, there we go. So envision my client opens this up. Again, she's already filled out a Precise FP form in the past, so she's created a password. She's getting in there, and now she can go through. Now, this is actually a great example of a form that makes use of fields that are able to pre-populate. So this has a lot of connected fields to what we call the profile in Precise FP. If you remember, I'm using a lot of contact fields here. So I already have a lot of information that's pre-filling already on this form. Now the clients, they can go through and kind of fill out other information. Again, if you recall, there's that annual income field there. So I'm going to just check that box there, click on finish. Now what will then happen is the client will see in Precise FP this thank you message. I always think it's a great idea here just to kind of put some notes, especially if you're using DocuSign, to let them know what to expect next. Right. So in this case, you know, maybe thanking them for completing the form, and maybe also just putting a note out there that says, you know, Mr. Client, please be, you know, sure to check your email. You're going to get a DocuSign request to sign this document, something like that. You know, it's not required, but I think just to, you know, prepare your clients of what to expect for next steps is always a great idea. So let me pause my screen here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up my email because I did get an email to DocuSign that. So let me open up my email, bear with me here. So I've got quite a few emails here, just trying to not show you guys all my emails, bear with me just a second. Okay, so here is, let me share my screen again. I'm in my email. Here is the DocuSign. So as the client, I am just going to go in and be able to then DocuSign my application here as the client. So let me go in here and do this, do continue. So again, this is what the client sees, their information pre-filled out. I didn't map everything, so that's why we're not seeing like the address and everything. If you recall, I just did a couple of boxes, but here is an example of that macro that we used, right? So that was the company name macro that I used here. So that is, my firm name is called Your Financial Advisor, and then the contact number. My client's name is filled out there. There's that annual income box that they checked. There is that death beneficiary field that we checked with Brandon. Brandon is the co-client, so we mapped his information there. Let's see, let's go to the, let's click on start here and sign. So there's my name pulling through, there's the date, I'm going to sign here, there's my name, boom, finish. And then you would get an email letting you know that you've got, your document has been signed. But going back to Precise FP, let me show you what that looks like in Precise FP here. So in Precise FP, when you go to the engagement, oops, let me close out of this. When you go to the engagement, you will see that it's completed, but you'll also get this little note here that shows that the documentation package was sent successfully. So that indicates again that that form actually went over and created an envelope in DocuSign automatically and forwards that over to the client. And then after that, you can download out of DocuSign that completed PDF and forward that where you need to go. Now, we do have partnerships with TD. So if you are a TD advisor, what's really nice is with your DocuSign integration that you enable in Precise FP, it automatically sends it over to TD. So we're working with Schwab to do a little more with them. I can't elaborate too much, but if you use DocuSign, you've got your own DocuSign. We do have documentation in our help center that actually will show you how you can get your DocuSign approved with Schwab so that it can happen the same way with Schwab. Because we've got, if you guys look in our library, we do have some of the commonly used forms with TD and with Schwab already created and available for you. So with Schwab, what you have to do is, again, if you want to use DocuSign in Precise FP, you just have to contact Schwab. We've got a contact email in the knowledge base article. Reach out to them, and then you can get your DocuSign account approved for use. And then what will happen is after the form is completed, just like it did here, an envelope is created, and then the Schwab form goes over to the client, they sign it, and then that completed form would auto forward to Schwab for you. So it's the same process that you would have with TD. Now, another route that you can do is if you prefer, maybe you're going to be preparing quite a few forms, or maybe you've got like your own agreement that you need to upload through DocuSign, you can only do one envelope at a time if you enable it in Precise FP. As a workaround, you're not required to actually go out there and use DocuSign with the forms. What would happen is if you just didn't enable the DocuSign integration, you can still use the forms, still have the client fill them out, all that good stuff, and they would pre-fill with data. But what will happen is instead of going to DocuSign, you'll just be able to download the filled PDF. So you can access the filled PDF by going to the engagement itself. So like in this case here with that engagement that I just completed that went to DocuSign, what I could do is if I didn't have DocuSign enabled, it would actually say filled PDF and I could click on it and would download the filled PDF. So it makes it more of a manual process, but that's great for, again, folks who are looking to maybe or who are required to add additional kind of paperwork to the DocuSign envelope if it's not going to be something that you're using out of Precise FP. So I know that was kind of a lot of information, folks. This is a really a fantastic tool. I think some key takeaways that I really just want to kind of reiterate with the PDF mapper is that, again, when you're using the PDF mapper and you upload a fillable PDF, it is not going to auto create the fields from the PDF on the Precise FP template. The PDF mapper also makes it so that the client is actually not seeing and interacting with the PDF at all. The PDF is underlying to the template. So the client is going to see this. They are going to see the template. If you do not have fields on the template that you do on the PDF, you have to create those. You have to create those on the actual template, and then you have to come back over here and map it to the PDF. So I'm not gonna lie, there's gonna be some work involved, especially with, like custodial forms where they can have quite a few fields on them. But the nice thing is once you have this mapping done, you don't have to do it again. And if by any chance they do make changes to the form, especially with like broker-dealer forms or custodial forms, which that happens sometimes, it's not often, but it happens, you can replace the underlying PDF without losing your mapping. Just come up here and click on toggle edit mode, and then you'll see this little icon right here, replace underlying PDF. Now this is great if you know, maybe it's just a little bit of verbiage change, or they've added some more pages to the end of the PDF, then everything you did in the beginning and the middle of the form will, again, all your original mapping will be there. And then you could just replace that PDF. And then if you need to add, you know, more fields to map, you'll be able to do that. All right. So that is PDF mapping. Like I said, there's a lot. We're running out of time, so I apologize, but we have a lot of great help articles about PDF mapping in the knowledge base. I highly, highly recommend checking out the knowledge base. You can access that by clicking on the question mark icon in the lower left. Click on knowledge base, and if you do a search for PDF mapper, there is a lot of great help videos. This one has a help video on it, this first one here, this PDF mapper, and then additional help articles to show you how to do anything and everything that you can imagine there in the actual PDF. Including, and I didn't get to it, but if you need to add fields, like if you have a PDF and maybe you want to add additional fields to it, that is something that you can do. Just click on toggle edit mode and click on the plus sign there. You could only add either a new text box or a checkbox field. So, you know, sometimes they may not have it as a fillable field and you need it to be. You can go out there and you can add either your own text field or your own checkbox field. There's a help article on how to do that as well. All right. So, oops, sorry, let me go back here. So let's open it up for questions. I did see a few come in. I'm sorry, I went a little too fast here. Let me go ahead and pull up the questions. So now would be a great time. If you have a question, please feel free to put it right in the GoToWebinar control panel. So we'll take the rest of our time together and go over any comments, questions, or concerns. Okay, somebody asked, how do you change the font that gets filled in on the PDF? Oh, you can't actually. That's not something that you can do at this time. Let's see. How do you create a field at the beginning that determines which PDF a client is presented with? For example, give the client an option to choose if they are doing a retirement or taxable account, and then use the right document for that scenario. Ooh, that's a great question. That's not something that you'd be able to do. Well, let me back up. You can only upload one PDF per template. What I would recommend, let me actually go back to, let me show you here. We've got this really great form that I want to show you. In our library, we have, let me pull it up here, this form right here, this custodial onboarding form. We have a lot of folks that use this. This is a great kind of starting point that I would recommend checking out, and this is customizable. Let me do a walkthrough of this just to show it to you here. So in the beginning, we are just getting, you know, those basics, right? And then we continue on here. We ask if they would like to include their children as beneficiaries. They mark yes. That section pops up. They can add in as many children as they want. And then we get here. We ask them what type of accounts would they like to open. We ask them, you know, if they're, as you can see here, as I'm just kind of going along, or if we're doing retirement accounts, we ask them what type of accounts that they want to do here. This is what I would use to send out to folks to gauge what type of accounts that they are wanting to open. And that tells you then what type of paperwork you need to then prepare for them. There isn't a way to set it up to have forms be conditional based on you know, the type of accounts that they're wanting to open. I get what you're asking, I do, but that's not something that can be done So I do recommend using this as kind of your starting point. Have the client go through, fill this out. They can add as many accounts as they want to open here, right? And the nice thing about this is that these fields are going to be dynamic. So as they enter in like their name and the co-client's name and the children or other family members out here, those names are going to pull in automatically through here, and the client will be able to see that too. So this would be something that I would recommend using. You can come out here and have them select what type of account that they're looking to open. After they fill this out, then you would be able to go to their account and then just choose what type of paperwork that you need to send to them. If it's something like through TD, for example, and you need to do an IRA and maybe an account transfer, you can do those forms because now you know what type of accounts that they're looking to open. Okay, that looked to be like that was all of the questions. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here. We do have, let me pull up our contact information here. I apologize. Pulling up my slides. There we go. So the best way to reach out to us is via our chat. So we've got live chat support available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. I've got our website out there, got our support email. Highly recommend checking out our website. If you go to our website and you look at the top, there's a webinars page. We've got a lot of great webinars. We've got throughout the week, we have webinars. We've got recorded ones if you can make them. And we've got a YouTube channel that has additional videos that you can check out there. The knowledge base is another really great resource full of videos and help articles for you. But again, I can't stress it enough. Don't hesitate to reach out to us via the chat. Myself and my team, we're there. We're happy to help you if need be. So again, thank you all for joining today, for taking time out of your Friday afternoon. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Again, let us know if any questions come up. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.